What's up guys, this is Jeremiah Derby here. I'm also known as Batman JPD on YouTube, and today I'm doing a little tutorial on how to practice drawing hands the correct way. Okay, there are tons and tons of tutorials that you can find on YouTube about how to draw hands, and I've just found a couple of things that work for me, and it's really helped me to better draw my hands, and not only better draw my hands, but be able to come up with different poses of the hand on my own. So what we're going to do here is let me go ahead and get rid of that right there, and I'm going to bring up a reference image. This is a reference image that I got from a website called Quick Poses. Okay, this is not sponsored, but I really like their stuff, and this is just somebody's library of hand poses that they took. So I liked it. I just took a couple of different poses and imported them into Clip Studio, and you can do the same thing, but you can do it on your own. You can take a picture yourself of your hand and put it into Photoshop or Clip Studio and work with it there, or you can actually do this traditionally. Take a picture, print it out, put it on a light board, or you can put it in the window when it's daytime, and you can put a piece of paper over and draw over top, so it's kind of transparent. But we're gonna be working in Clip Studio today, and like I said, I already have a hand pose up here. I'm gonna go ahead and create a new layer. So I like to practice drawing any part of the body, anything, by first using reference images, because there's nothing better to use than an actual reference image. And I'm not going to just be drawing over top of the reference image, but I'm going to be breaking down the reference image into simpler shapes so that I can memorize certain details better. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show you this real quick. So I'm just going to pull my brush. I'm using my pencil. I'm using a pencil by Jonathan Rector. He's a comic book artist. He has a bunch of brushes, and I downloaded some of his brushes. I'll have links in the description below if you want to check them out. But I'm just going to go ahead and grab a blue color. So I just like to work in blue when I'm working my construction. You can work in whatever color you want. But I'm just going to simply draw a box right here. So this is the main part of the hand right here. So right here, I'm going to draw a box. Alright, so, and notice when we get to the knuckles up here, notice how it's not a perfect square. Okay, so it goes up, the knuckles go up to the middle finger, and then they go back down to the pinky finger. So right here, if I were to draw it out here, notice how it slopes. So this would be the middle finger, the knuckle of the middle finger, because the middle finger is the longest finger. It's not that it's the longest finger, but it sticks out the farthest. Okay, and then the other knuckle, the index finger, is right here, and that kind of lines up with the ring finger too. The index finger and the ring finger, the knuckles line up pretty much the same, and then the lowest knuckle is the pinky finger, of course. So let me go ahead and erase all that. Oops, a little bit too far. Alright, so we got the middle finger, the knuckle, and then we got the ring finger and the index finger, and of course we got the pinky finger right there, and those are the knuckles. See how it goes in a arching shape right here. It's not straight across, it's actually an arched shape. Okay, so now let me zoom in a little bit so y'all can see. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I like to think of, so there's a knuckle right here for the thumb. I always like to draw the thumb first, and what I think of first is I think of a triangle. So I create a triangle, and that triangle is going to tell me where the knuckle starts. Okay, so I have a triangle right here, and notice how where this triangle ends, That's about where the knuckle is going to be for the thumb. See that? Okay, so there's 2 knuckles in the thumb right here. So there's one here, and then you have a knuckle right here. Okay, so the thumb is split up into basically 2 different pieces. So you got right here, this is a cylinder shape right here. This part of the thumb is just a cylinder shape, and this is also a cylinder shape that tapers into the end of the thumb. Okay, so it kind of flattens out at the base of the thumb over here. Okay, so just see how we're breaking this down into basic shapes. So we got this sort of square shape for the base of the hand, this triangle that will indicate where our knuckle is, and then we got 2 cylinders. Okay, and that's basically the same thing for every single finger. And I know sometimes, especially for me, sometimes hands get very difficult very easy. So very difficult very easily, I mean. And so it's just really, if you can break it down into basic shapes, it will help you a lot. Okay, so each finger right here breaks down into, there are 3 knuckles in each finger. Okay, so each finger has 3 knuckles, and these two are the more prominent knuckles. Okay, so this one you can't really see, it's back there in space. Okay, and what I'm going to do first, before I go ahead, and I should have done it here, is usually I like to make it like a stick, like a stick figure. Okay, so go ahead and just like if you were doing the skeleton, just make a stick figure hand, and that will kind of help you know which direction the fingers will be going in. Okay, so almost done here. Alright, so now the same thing with the thumb. The fingers are made of cylinders if you break them down into basic shapes. Okay, so we're gonna have 3 cylinders. Okay, and then the last one, of course, tapers off into the base of the finger. So right here it just tapers right there. Okay, and same thing for these ones. Okay. Alright. And again, this tapers into the new base. Okay, and notice I'm not really being refined yet. I'm very much sketching everything out. And my program's lagging a little bit. And notice right here there is webbing. Our hands have webbing in between, and that's just a little square, a little triangle basically. So boom, and just think about it when you get to like when they start to recede in perspective, because it's easy to do like these fingers because they're sticking straight out, but now they're starting to bend. Okay, so I've got to think about this in perspective and think about it in 3D. That is the main goal here. Okay, anything you do, you got to be able to think about it in 3D. So if I were to think about this as a cylinder, that would be, that would be where I would turn it into a 3D. Think about it going around actually. Okay, so and then we got the last section of the finger right here. Okay, and lastly we have the pinky. Okay, my program is lagging a little bit. I'm still gonna have to figure out some settings because my computer is not the best and it doesn't really work well with these types of recording programs. Okay, so there is the basic hand. Okay, and of course you can always get into the forum. We're not really getting into the forum today, but it's just basically, again, it's basically a cylinder shape. Okay, so there we go. And also notice right here that there are tendons. These tendons, these knuckles, and these veins, they extend. You know, these are bones right here that go all the way and they taper into each other right here. Okay, so notice how they don't go straight down except for the middle finger. The middle finger is the only one that goes pretty much straight. Okay, but the rest of them taper in to the middle finger, the middle bone. Okay, see how that works? Okay, so when you go back in and you start refining, you'll be able to put hints of that into your work. Okay, so now that we have the basic shapes, we've broken everything down. Honestly, I went into it a little bit with a little bit more detail than I wanted to. You know, usually I don't break it down this much. I usually just break it down into the basic basic shapes, and I'll show you. I'll do another example after this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and create a new layer real quick, and I'm gonna get rid of this layer. So now that I have I have this, I shouldn't need my reference. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of my reference. I'm gonna go to my sketch, gonna lower the opacity, go back to my refinement layer, gonna get my black, and now this is where I can refine it a little bit, be a little bit more refined and not as sketchy. Okay, I'm still gonna be nice and loose. It's not like I'm trying to ink this right now. So right here, this is knuckle. Okay, and we got this knuckle right here. Okay, and then the base right here. Okay, so now it's more of, I can really think about the silhouette and the shape because I've already got that. And don't be scared, guys, to use reference. I know sometimes reference is looked at as, a shameful thing or something, but it really helps you. How are you going to get better without looking at what you're trying to draw? Okay, so if I'm trying to draw a car or something, there's a lot of little parts in a car that I don't really know about. Okay, I can get the basic shape, but I don't really know much about cars, and you might, but most people don't really know about cars that much, so they need to look at reference and build up a muscle memory, so to speak, and just practice it and drill it in their heads over and over till they finally get it down. Okay, so right here I'm just basically going in first and outlining the silhouette, the shape of the finger. Okay, got the webbing. Okay, and then now you can go in with as much detail or as little detail as you possibly want once you get the basic shape down. Okay, and remember, this is practice. Okay, so if you want to try something new, try something. You want to try something that you usually don't do. don't be scared to do it. Okay. This isn't something that people are going to usually see. This is how you practice and get better, like I said. Okay, so there we go. There we go. Okay. So I remember. Okay, there we go. And sometimes these are pretty tricky when they start to recede in space and stuff. It can get very difficult. But like I said, if you lay out your rough shapes, and you know, especially if you're having a tough time getting the pose down, you know, and you really need, and you just can't do it, and you're just erasing over and over. When I find myself in those situations, you know, I just go with reference. Okay. And I kind of messed up on that pinky finger, but I'll go back in and fix it up in just a second. Okay, so there we go. Alright, and his wrist was kind of bent because he was trying to frame it for the picture. So I'm just gonna keep this wrist straight. And there's also a little bone right here in the forearm, but like I said, we're not really getting into the forearm today. So won't necessarily talk about the forearm. I'm just gonna sketch a hint of it right here. Okay, so there we go. Now we have the basic silhouette. So now I need to go in and sort of place the knuckles. So now I see I have the knuckles placed. I know where I need to place them. Okay, and if we go back, and we can always pull this back up and look back just to see how things work together. Okay, actually, like I said, I messed this pinky up because I couldn't tell what was going on up there. So let me go ahead and fix the itty bitty pinky. Okay. Alright, so that looks better. So let's go, and like I said, these tendons really stick out, especially this one. There's a lot of shading right here, and this middle one really it's the one that goes straight down. Okay, so as long as you know that, and you know that these other ones taper into it, it'll make it pretty easy to figure out these tendons. Okay, so now we got one here, and you don't really need to draw all of it. Okay, you just hint at the tendon. You don't need to draw the whole thing. So it honestly sometimes is better to just hint at something instead of drawing it out. Okay, so what I like to do for the knuckles right here is there's a lot of wrinkles right here, so I just give it a couple little wrinkles around the knuckle right here. Alright, and the same one here, there's just less over here. Okay, and then you have your if you want to draw in the fingernail, remember there's a couple little wrinkles under the fingernail there. So we got the thumb right here. Okay, so now you can really just go in and add your detail as much as you want or as little as you want. Okay, so right here, and what I like to do sometimes is, you know, just don't be scared to place some lines. trying to hint at little wrinkles and stuff, because if they don't work, then you can always just delete it, undo, and you can figure out what really works. Okay, so it's really just figure out what works for you, and what your style fits. Yeah. I know I like a pretty detailed, pretty comic book graphic novel style, so that's kind of what I'm going for right here. So again, adding some wrinkles right here. Okay. Not sure. There we go. Alright, and then we got this one right here. Okay. Got his fingernail up there. Okay, and the more you do this, the more you just sit down and find time to draw over real life and reference. It's really just going to help strengthen your what do I call it? Your mental library. It'll help your muscle memory. So then you won't have to think about it. And this is really what I like to do to practice, because and you can do this in your sketchbook too. You don't have to have a photo. You can just look at your hand and draw, and just keep looking at your hand too. I just find that I like to have the image there, because you can't draw over your hand in real life. I guess you could, but I'm not gonna put permanent marker on my hand. So we're almost finished here. I could go in and add more detail, add some cross hatching if I want, but I'm not doing that. This is just trying to get a start. So let's go ahead and get rid of this right here. Okay, so as you can see, there's still some stuff I need to work on right here. I still can add some details and stuff, but as you see, I've got a good basic hand right here. Okay, so this is just a very good way of practicing and finding different poses. Okay, so especially if even if you can't find an image of it, just take a picture of your own hand. If you got a pose that you want and you can't find the image, just take a picture of your own hand and upload it into your into Photoshop or into Clip Studio, and just draw right over top of it. So there's a good little basic hand right there, and it all started from a reference image. Okay, and remember, this isn't using reference images isn't cheating. Okay, this is practice. I'm practicing. Okay, I'm not. This wasn't like copying their image. This is used for practice. So then, when I do start drawing without reference images, that I can remember those little details. Okay, so let's do one more hand real quick. Okay guys, so I got another pose here. We're gonna go ahead and make a fist. So like I said, the first thing we do is, let me get my brush. We're going to make it so, as you see here, this is the front of it. So we're gonna think in 3D here. Okay, so this is still a box, or like I said, it was a rectangle, but in 3D it would be a box or a rectangular prism. Okay, so right here it's still curving. See how it still curves? Okay, so we have, see how it points? The point is the highest point is at the middle finger's knuckle. Okay, and then the other ones curve around it. It still tapers in. Okay, so all I'm going to do, this is the front, so I'm going to make it into a prism. Okay, I'm going to make it into a 3D shape. You're seeing the front of this 3D shape right here. Okay, so this is the middle knuckle right here. Like I said, this is the highest point. Okay, now we have the index finger knuckle and the ring finger knuckle about line up at the same place. Then you have the pinky that kind of curves in. See how it kind of curves in? Okay, so right here, and also we got like I said, we make a triangle. Okay, and this is actually going to be kind of a side view of the triangle. Okay, this is a front view. Like I said, this is in perspective, so we're seeing this in 3D, and so it's now a triangular prism. Okay, and okay, so and that triangle will give us where the end of that triangle will give us where the knuckle is. All right, so now we got the thumb has, well, we're gonna go ahead and make a little stick figure. Thumb has 2 knuckles, 2 divisions. Okay, then it has 3. The fingers have 3, but you only see 2 when it's closed, and a fist. Okay, and notice how when these ones start to curve in. Okay, especially the pinky finger curves in a lot. See that? You can't even see it because it's behind. All right, so now we have basically it's just 2. They're just cylinders right here. Okay, cylinder right there. Cylinder right here. Okay, so we got the cylinders for these fingers. I know it's starting to get a little bit messy here, but just bear with me. Okay, and then we got the pinky finger that is tucked in over here. It's curving in. Okay, and then right here, it kind of like there's like an indentation here. Okay, right here. That's how I like to remember it. And then you got your knuckle, what's your second knuckle, and then it just tapers in. Another cylinder right here. Okay. Alright, so now we have the hand. Alright, and then I'll just draw forearm back here. Alright, so let's go ahead and get rid of this. Alright, and I'm going to lower the opacity of this layer. Alright, new layer, get my black pencil, and we're gonna go ahead and start adding the details. So this video is already getting long enough as it is, so I'm gonna go ahead and end it. But hopefully you guys learned something. Hopefully you enjoyed this. This is my first tutorial in a while, and you know, I've been wanting to do drawing tutorials for a long time, but I know that I'm not a professional artist, but I'm gonna show you what I do, and you know, show you my tips, my ebbs and flows. So like I said, hopefully you enjoyed this video, hopefully you enjoyed this tutorial, If you did, please leave a like, and please make sure to subscribe, like, and share. And let me know if you want to see any more tutorials, and if you do, what types of tutorials you would like to see. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. I know I'm ranting on, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it, hopefully you liked it, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.